Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Think Suburbia, the video podcast of the Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition, the SUVGOP. We're so happy that you're joining us for our second video podcast. I'm Mike Ginsberg. I'm one of the hosts of the podcast.
Hi, I'm Jill Cook. I'm the co-host of the podcast and another one of the founding members of SUVGOP. We are joined tonight by Manga Anantatmula, who is the presumptive nominee. She's a candidate and presumptive nominee for the 11th District Congressional seat. So welcome, Manga. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jill, for having me on your show. I'm looking forward to chatting with you folks. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we're going to dive right into it. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that you have been an active in the Indian community for quite a while. And so tell us a little bit about that background and then tell us why you decided to join the Republican Party.
Well, I'm as a legal immigrant, moved to US 2-3 decades ago, and Virginia has been my home ever since then. And for a short, brief time, I moved to North Carolina, came back, and I've always been in the Indian community, a part of politics, but they're not so deep into politics. It's just about knowing who the candidates are and who I should run and what the issues are, issue-based. And that's all about it for me when it comes to getting involved with politics and nothing more than that. You know, being a citizen here, and which is a great thing. Coming from a military family, my son is in US Navy. We are a military family. I'm a military mom. So I have learned to embrace this American culture. And when I went to North Carolina, I thought that it might be a totally different world that I might be getting myself exposed to, good or bad. But then, yeah, we had our challenges, but the best things happened in North Carolina. I truly, truly embraced. I thought I was an American, being a military family, military mom, but it is not so. There is so much to learn about American culture, how to truly enjoy the freedom of America and the constitutional rights that come with, and the true freedom that this beautiful nation gives through our Constitution.
So speaking of that, I mean, to sort of play off of that, what was it about, the Republican Party? What drew you to become a Republican? And what prompted you to run for Congress?
Very good question, Mike. Yes. Having to know about a party, for me, it was always about, okay, I mean, yeah, Democratic Party, Republican Party, but I never associated Republican Party as a party that has value system built into it. For me, it was all about politics. But now I realized when I was in North Carolina that the party is about just not politics, it's also about our own values. I started becoming and more leaning toward Republican Party, even though I was just a swing voter. But in 2016, I voted for President Trump. I ran into one of the rallies while I was just driving up on the road somewhere in North Carolina. I can't even remember which place. We were just driving through and we saw a huge rally. We stopped and we asked at the presidential nominee, Trump is having a rally here. I said, okay, then we have to go. And it was packed rally. And still the person who was at the gate allowed me, he was very surprised. These brown people want to be at Trump rally. It was a surprise on his face. And he was so glad that we wanted to be part of it. So he allowed us to be there, and we went there and we saw something very unique about that presidential candidate. I said, this is who I'm going to vote. Even though I moved here in October, I voted early because I was not sure whether all my voter registration would move, and I did not want that to interfere with my voting. So I voted early, came here, And when people came to know on November 6th that I voted for Trump and he won, and I was celebrating and I was with my friends at that time, and there was so much trolling, so much bullying, so much hate. And that was the time even nobody was willing to say that I voted for Trump.
Mhm.
I think among the Indian community, I was the only one. And I was so singled out.
Mhm.
Yes,
So
I
what was it?
fought for my
What was
vote.
it that what prompted you to decide, hey, I'm going to run for Congress myself?
Oh, well, this actually connects with my previous question. All this bullying, all this trolling, and telling people that I am not an intellect to vote for Trump. I just exercised my constitutional rights. And people need to respect that constitutional right that anybody can vote for any candidate. And it's our absolute right, and they need to respect that. And I need to respect if they voted for Hillary. But just did not happen that way. I realized soon my constitutional rights were just simply fading away. And this is only an add up to my already building frustration. The left has already begun to start kneeling for the national anthem. That really bothered me very intensely in my heart. This country I loved and embraced, feel I am loyal to this country, patriotic towards this country, my new home, and I love national anthem. I just could never imagine kneeling for national anthem. And the left started kneeling for the national anthem, and the whole media, the whole Democrat Party, they were all supporting it. So all these things were just simply adding up, and it was a last straw on the camel's back that all my rights, I don't have freedom of speech anymore.
Mhm.
My constitutional rights to vote for any candidate I thought is the best for this country did not matter anymore. And even before he took oath on January 20th, people were already planning on impeaching him.
Mhm.
So where are the constitutional rights? That is the most beautiful, significant part of this country. Coming from India, where it's too much of socialism, ran away from it almost, and coming here, and I'm beginning to see the decline in respect
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
constitution
Well,
and
you're
laws.
right about that. That's something that we all feel. That's something that we all feel is important. That's something we all feel we want to bring back. And we really applaud you for stepping up and standing for that. And speaking of the election, there are a lot of issues that are important, all the things that you talked about, but running for a congressional office in a congressional district, there are a lot of issues going on. And one issue that obviously is on everybody's mind is the pandemic. So as you know, Northern Virginia has sort of been excluded from phase one opening, which is frustrating to a lot of us. A lot of people are critical of that. What do you think about that?
Even in this difficult times of pandemic, I just can't fathom that the left is wanting to hold on to that socialism, deep-rooted socialism. We are almost in the borders of communism, and they all sound like communists. How are we going to sit back, take it, while during this pandemic, 32 million Americans are unemployed and so many more, almost 90% small businesses almost shut down. They're all hurting economically. And here are our representatives sitting home, not wanting to come to the House and sign the bills
Mhm.
for the relief. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? What should be our priorities? This pandemic is just not about wish list. This is about Americans. This is about small businesses. This is about our country. This is about our economy. We cannot let our economy die. The best thing we can do for our economy right now is to open the economy fully, 100%. We are all responsible citizens. We have been through SARS. We have been through N1H1 epidemics. We know our responsibilities. Let them not treat Americans as their puppy dogs. We are not to be trained. We are already trained. We know our rights. We know our responsibilities. We know when to wear a mask to protect ourselves and to protect others. We know when to keep social distancing, to be safe and to let others be safe. Let people decide what's best for them.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. Of course, there's a foreign policy dimension too to this pandemic, namely that it started in China. The Chinese were hid. They sort of obfuscated about what was really going on until this became an uncontrollable pandemic. How would you respond if you were in the Congress? What sorts of measures do you think would be appropriate to take in response to China's perfidy over the whole thing?
Well, China has been very, very vicious. I would never have sat back and watched this and stayed home, not doing something about it. If I had been the congresswoman, I would have been standing there and asking my president to question them. Go ahead. Why is it that this pandemic was absolutely contained in Wuhan and did not spread in most parts of China? And they controlled domestic travel and they did not control international travel. That is, to me,
it's a damning fact.
Exactly. It's a damning fact. That is almost China waging war against the world. I see this no less than a third world war, a biological warfare that China had inflicted on the rest of the countries. Why would US alone have to be the one to react? I would, if I were in the Congress, as a congresswoman, I would have made all effort to lead the effort to bring the global alliances to fight this pandemic and the vicious biological attack China has inflicted in the entire world. This is just not for US to react. This is for the entire world to react.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right about that. And we're all in this together, right? Switching gears just a little bit because we do have a limited amount of time. So your son is in the U.S. Navy, as you have mentioned, and you have experience in defense acquisitions. So tell us your views on national defense at this point, and should you become a congresswoman, how will you be able to use your experience, and what would you do as a congresswoman?
Well, coming from the defense acquisitions expertise, and also in DHS, I do acquisitions, we are always cutting corners. We don't allocate enough money for our defense forces. We don't allocate money for DHS to do their best job. They are such capable people. We need to give them the enough funds to protect our country. This is all about our national security. We have all the money for all the social welfare, social engineering projects and their idiocracy programs, and we say we do not have enough funds for our national defense for DOD and DHS. I have always seen them cutting corners, trying to fit in the budget. I would, if I am the congresswoman, I would just give them the best resources I can to make things happen better for our national security.
So a follow-on question to that, because obviously this time around is a little bit different. We're going to be recovering from the devastation of the response to the pandemic economically. So how does that fit in with a fully funded military?
Well, I am really afraid that they might be trying to reduce defense spending and spending in DHS. That would put a lot of programs that are absolutely necessary for them to keep going. Coming from that background, I know that is what they would do. Or the next thing they would try to do is to furlough. No, we cannot have these agencies furlough. National security agencies. That's not where we need to cut corners. This is about people. This is about the country. So yes, I mean, not cutting their budgets and not furloughing them is the biggest favor we as Americans can do for these agencies. And thanks to them, we are at least sitting right here and talking for all the sacrifices they make, their families make.
Right.
No, that's a great point. Those are great points. I guess, that obviously you're going to be, you're the presumptive nominee. Probably, sometime after June, you will be formally be the nominee of the Republican Party in the 11th Congressional District. Your opponent would be Gerry Connolly, the current congressman. Why, if somebody, a voter came to you and said, Gerry's the congressman, why should I replace Gerry Connolly? What has he done that deserves replacement? What sorts of things would you point to?
Well, he is far left. He is no longer in the center. He's no longer a centrist. He just does not care what is happening in his own constituency. The quality of life has decreased tremendously, and he has never voted for right things in the Congress ever. For socialism, he's far left. He aligns with AOC, he aligns with Ilhan Omar, he aligns with the Squad, and he voted to impeach our president on us where there's nothing. And all the way through, if you have seen, he has not accomplished anything. None of the bills he has passed. He has zero to his credibility. And nothing else is there that he can do. He's a stealth congressman.
That's a good way to put it.
He's a stealth congressman. We do not need him. And almost he's doing nothing. He's stagnant. What do you do with the stagnant water? You clean it up.
Drain it.
Drain it. So this swamp needs to be drained. This stagnant stealth congressman need to go, and he need to be drained.
So following on the campaign theme, so how has your campaign had to adapt? This is obviously an unusual campaign season. It's not like any we've seen in our lifetime. How are you adapting to that to get your message across, to compete against Gerry Connolly and his very, entrenched constituency?
Nicely funded by special interests.
There you go. That too.
Yes. Oh, yes. He is a big friend of all special interest groups. But yes, this pandemic has put a real bad dent on my campaigning. I thought it was picking up very well. This pandemic came, but then I cannot be stagnant. Like I said, I do not like to be. I want to make the best of every situation. I am trying to do the best I can in this situation by having my town hall sessions every Sunday. I take up on an issue and I talk about it. What is wrong? What was the cause of that issue, and what should be the solution for the issue? So I do my online town halls, and I do online meetings, and I'm also doing online fundraisers. So I'm doing everything I can to do online, and I'm on the Twitter expressing my views. And of course, I really need a lot of help. I would love for people to come, the college students to come experience volunteering for campaign, and people come volunteer to get online campaigning going. There are so many ways to do that, and never should be feeling that we cannot do. That is itself a half defeat. So I'm definitely doing everything I can, but I'm waiting for this economy to open up so that I can go meet with people. In case this continues and we cannot go meet, I want to get my word to all my viewers through you that please do not be feeling bad if we can't come knocking on your door. We can't cover all the phone calls. We will definitely keep in touch with you. I will keep in touch with you via the social media and short videos anytime, any questions you may have. I'm going to record a video and release it for everybody. That's how I want to connect with my folks in
That's
Virginia.
great. And you're doing teletown halls, right, every Sunday night, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's on Facebook.
Yes. On
Facebook Live.
and also WebEx.
We can give you
okay,
the opportunity right here. Actually, that was one of our questions usually on the wrap up, is how would somebody get involved with your campaign? Your website address and your social media sites. Would you like to say that right now?
Sure. People can go to my website, manga 4 persuaded11.com, and you have all my information. You have my Facebook information. You have my Twitter handle, my Instagram. You can connect in any or all the ways you can. I'm always responsive. You can email to me. You can ask to be included in my volunteer form. You can have any questions asked and we will answer you. Any different way we can, we are here to answer you. And we are planning on doing a food drive on June 29th.
Oh, wonderful.
June 29th. And we request people to sign up for that as a volunteers, and whatever you can do, please donate. And also please donate to my campaign. Money is the most important thing in a campaign to run and to win. And my opponent is already sitting on nearly $4 million. So
Right.
I need all the support I can from Virginia 11 and all the Republicans all over the country who are watching, who are supporting, and who are following. And we need your support. Now we need to make the Virginia 11 red. And if not, my question to every Republican out there is, if not now, when? The socialism is getting deep rooted in this country. Almost our leaders are sounding, Democrat leaders are sounding like they are communists. If not now, when do you want this change to happen? If not 2020, when? If we don't address our issues and our rights now in 2020, we may not have any chance. Drain the swamp. Don't think that just because an incumbent has been there for 12 years, it's impossible to get rid of them. Your vote will get rid of them. Your vote will make sure that we are having our rights back and our family values back into our families and our lives. It is the voters that determine, not the incumbent that stayed there for 12 years.
Well, thank you, Manga. That is an excellent way to put it. If not now, when? We all need to have this kind of call to arms that you have given us. Very inspirational. And I just want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for
Thank you for having me.
message, and we'll get it out there, and we really appreciate it, Mike.
No, this is great. Thank you again, Manga. We really appreciate you joining us in our new format. So, and thanks to you all who have watched our podcast here on video. You can watch this podcast as well as all of our podcasts from this year. We have an earlier podcast with Pete Snyder, the head of the Virginia 30-day fund. And we have all our podcasts from years past, 2019, when we started doing this. You can visit our website, SUVGOP.com, and go to the drop-down menu where it says SUV's podcasts, and you can find all of these. So we really thank you for joining us on this podcast, and we look forward to seeing you on the next edition of Think Suburbia.
Thank you, and God bless America.